What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look on how to itemize on Monkey King, especially mid lane Monkey King, as that's a little bit harder to play because you are very greedy as a mid laner, and especially if you're playing into a bad matchup like this game is. This is against an Outworld Devourer or an OD. It's pretty difficult to play this matchup, so I went more for denies rather than last hits, so I could just keep the XP as even as possible because he can just astral me, and honestly I can't really do too much to him. So when you start out, you want to get your Wraith Band and your Treads and your Echo Saber at a really good timing, because that is the Monkey King timing in general, even when you're playing on the carry position. But on the mid, it's very important because it'll help you get rotation so much better, and you're going to be able to catch these enemies and get your Jingu stacks much faster. In this lane, you kind of just have to not feed. That's pretty much the objective. You're not going to crush the OD unless you get some rotations or something like that, or he absolutely misplays. But even building Jingu, it's very difficult in this lineup because all he has to do is just astral you, and you're not going to be having a really good time. So if you see that you are not able to get any value from the Jingu, then you can just max your Primal Spring. That way you can farm. But I knew as soon as I rotate, I would need my Jingu. So even though I wasn't going to be using it in the lane, I was going to end up using it in my rotations. So that's why I took more points than necessary for the lane, because I could have farmed a quicker Echo Saber. But with a Templar Assassin on my team, I needed to make space for her, because at the end of the day, if you pick a Monkey King mid, you need to make space for your carry. You are not the carry. You are kind of like this side option that can scale into the late game as a second carry, but at the end of the day, you don't have that priority. She does. So you need to make space for her, so you got to build the right items for you to be able to do that, because you're not just going to rush a Silver Edge first item because, oh, I'm mid Monkey King and I'm going to scale like a carry. No, you need to get your Echo Saber and get items that you need for the matchup. So in this game, I really wanted to be able to catch and get away from situations, so that's why I ended up going for the Silver Edge. It's also a good break for the Tide Hunter and the OD. Doesn't really affect the OD that much, but him not being able to get that mana pool back is definitely very strong, and it's very good catch, and the crit honestly destroys these heroes. So that's why I ended up going for it, because I knew if I got into a really sticky situation, I wasn't going to be able to get out quickly because they have a Witch Doctor. So I'm pretty much the malediction target almost every single time, so I can't Primal Spring out. And it's just an overall really good item on Monkey King, just to be able to catch people and be able to get away from sticky situations. Wait on your Boundless Strike cooldown while you're invis, while you have Jingu, and you can just get full HP on a really huge Boundless. There's a lot of things you can do, and Monkey really benefits from an item like Shadow Blade. I definitely would have to say the hardest thing about playing Monkey King mid is the matchups. It doesn't own a lot of matchups. Like, it really destroys the spirits like Ember, even Earth Spirit to a certain extent. Unless you get kicked under tower, then you're a little bit screwed. But basically all the melee heroes he does really well against, because that's what Monkey does. But there's a lot of matchups that you can get absolutely dumpstered, like Huskar, Tinker. You don't really do too much to Invoker because he can just get away, and he could really punish you if you overextend, because the whole idea of Monkey is you play really aggressive up on their hill to build up Jingu stacks and to be able to deny pretty much every creep or last hit every single creep. That is how you play this hero. It is a lane dominator. So when you decide to play mid Monkey King, you need to realize that it's going to be a good Monkey game. So don't play it into really bad counters. Like, you can lose the lane on Monkey and still be okay, because you can farm if you max Primal Spring, and you'll be just fine if your team will allow you to get that space. And if you get some support rotations, you can definitely get easy kills even on counter matchups. But some matchups are really difficult. If you're playing against the Huskar, there's really nothing you can do to that hero. Every time you walk up, you're going to eat a bunch of spears and you're just going to die. Even though it's not a prevalent hero in the meta, it could definitely happen. There's a lot of Huskar players out there that enjoy playing it. You definitely destroy heroes like Kunkka. That's definitely a matchup, but it honestly depends on skill as well, because if you do get outplayed, the matchup starts to sway in the enemy mid laner's favor. That's why this hero is very lane based. You need to dominate your lane, or at least go even. You can't really get dumpstered super hard, because then you won't have impact, because the enemy mid laner is going to be out leveling you so much, you won't be able to get those rotations properly. Another huge pickup for Monkey King has always been the Orb of Venom. Even in a matchup like versus OD, I still ended up picking it up because it really helps to punish him. If he steps out of position, I'm able to slow him down, build my Jingus, and get a good amount of harassment done. So sometimes you guys think that oh, I'm not going to get enough value out of the Orb of Venom, so I'm just not going to get it. It's a really cheap item, and if you're able to get the value in 1 or 2 scenarios, it's going to pay itself out, because a kill on a mid laner because you had an Orb of Venom is going to pay the item off, and it's going to be such a really good pickup for you, and it's going to help you in the long run because it stacks with Echo Saber. That's a massive slow. That equals more Jingu charges for you, more survivability, and one of the things I see Monkey King players do the most is throw their stun away. Your stun is pretty much your turn potential. It is one of your most important tools other than Jingu for you to survive and to make plays on a team fight. So always have your stun and have it for the outplay potential where you're getting dropped really low and you have Jingu mastery and you just pop your stun while you're back to full HP if you do it on a couple of good targets, and it just does so much damage. It obliterates supports. It's definitely a very important tool for you guys to have it in your arsenal and not to be used for like creep waves and such, unless you can see every single hero on the map. They are nowhere near you and you're not going to need it for the next 20 seconds. Then you can definitely use it to your heart's content, but if you know you're going to need it within the next couple of fights, definitely don't get it. Another thing that's really good this meta is to get Harpoon. Monkey King really benefits from this item because you build Jingu faster, you're able to slow them even more, you're able to close the gap because Harpoon is so good, and with an item like Silver Edge, Harpoon, and Scotty, there's really nobody in this game who's going to be getting away from you. So I really feel like this item build is really strong. It's obviously a snowball build, it takes a lot of time to get online, but once you get it, there's pretty much no hero out there that's going to be able to get away from you unless they just pop BKB, but Scotty also goes through BKB, so you will be just fine. So definitely build a Harpoon on Monkey pretty much every single game. It's such a really strong item, and if they have a Medusa, you can definitely get the Disperser. Is such a really good item. Like, you can still get Echo Saber Diffusal. Like, it's gonna be a slower timing, but Echo Saber Diffusal is really strong on Monkey because you get the slow from Diffusal and you get the slow from Echo Saber, so they're just gonna be slowed down to a crawl, and you're gonna be able to do so many things on this hero. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Monkey King as a mid laner. It's definitely not something that's played all the time. It's definitely a specialty hero. You can definitely pick it if you see melee mids and definitely dumpster them. You just don't pick it into really bad matchups and you're going to be absolutely fine. It's a very fun hero to play. It's fun to rotate, and with how big the map is, you have so much vision when you're up on the trees. You can set up a really good Wukong's command, and the item builds are pretty straightforward. Like I said, Harpoon, Silver Edge, you can get Diffusal if they have a Medusa, turn it into a Disperser, BKB if it's really necessary. Otherwise, you go for a Scotty, which is going to pay itself off in the long run a lot better because you're going to be able to cut the regen down. You're going to be a lot tankier, and it's just a really good item on Monkey, so you can stick onto targets and get your Jingus. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. A like would be much appreciated. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.